podcast written by three anxiety machines masquerading as men trying to, quote-unquote, win Pulitzers with dick and butt jokes. Welcome to Story Lords, the prompt-based fiction podcast with 2 prompts, 3 stories, and infinite laughter. I'm Rich Masters, and with me, as always, is Jeff Pennington.
Hello.
And Josh Henderson.
I think we could win a Pulitzer.
Yeah,
like
a Pulitzer?
Yeah. We could win a Pulitzer.
See, I don't know how it's pronounced because, I mean, we don't win Pulitzers here. We win Booker Prize.
I feel like we're...
Booker Prize for writing a book?
Yeah.
That's a little on the nose.
Yeah. I mean, why give it a weird name? Just say what it means. The crime
Booker
awards
Prize.
are the daggers.
I'm sitting here wondering, is it... Because Josh and I both say Pulitzer, but is it Pulitzer?
I thought
it was a guy, so I don't know. I don't know. Or a person. I don't know.
I don't care.
I only know the Pulitzer.
It's a Pulitzer because you pull the book out and read it.
Yeah, you pull it out, yeah.
Maybe. Our prompts this week were Bodybuilders and Junkyards.
We definitely all based our stories around that and didn't force it in at the last minute.
Oh, mine's like pretty on the nose this week, I must say. I'm patting myself on the back. Well Good job, Josh. You're the best.
Yay!
I agree.
And it's me first this week, so I can get this out of the way and
It's
then
always
rest
me
my
first
voice.
With Rich. He wrote it down. Can you believe this fucking nerd?
You wrote your story?
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't just make it the fuck up as you go?
No. And I'm insulted that you think that.
We should just do that one day.
Do Mad Libs.
God, that would be a very bad episode.
Yeah, it would be.
Abysmal. No Pulitzers for us.
Poopylitzers.
Pooplitzer.
Right, okay. Hallgrim awoke with a start in a dank
What's
pit.
the name of your story?
Oh, shit, yeah, sorry. It's called... Oh, it's a good one as well. Ask not for whom the junk trunks, it trunks for thee.
Nice.
I nearly missed that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are you talking about, title boy?
Yeah, well, if it happens to me, it's going to happen to you.
All
now
right,
who's
fair enough.
oppositionally defiant?
Fair enough. It's still me. Hallgrim awoke with a start in a dank pit of darkness, only rivalled by... Wait, I've done this joke about your mother's dank baby maker already, haven't I? But, I mean, if I haven't, then Josh or Jeff definitely have. Man, we really go hard on your mums, don't we? Which coincidentally is what those 4 guys at the bus station that she picked up on a Lonely Tuesday said about her.
Wow.
Where was I? I'm only in the first paragraph and lost my place.
I lost my place.
Hallgrim winced at the pain in his chest and moved a hand to it in the dark, but a hand was already there, a cold flannel tending to his bruised flesh. That better be you, Ash. I'm a one-woman man now, he murmured. Lucky me, eh? She whispered. You should rest. We have to move soon. But he was awake and sat up gingerly. Feels like I got hit in the chest with a giant metal mace, he mumbled. You did, she said.
Almost exactly like that.
It was Chunder. Keep your voice down. A mace in the chest. I'm hoping we were attacked and this isn't some sort of new kink I asked you to try out, he muttered. His sleep delirium IQ just higher than room temperature.
That's great.
That's a better insult in England than it is in America.
That's
the
true.
Voice, yeah.
No, it's a different temperature.
It's a different
scale.
number, yeah.
Yeah, so I just got that, so good work. My room temperature is like 20.
Yeah. If you're lucky.
20 Kelvin.
Jesus.
Where are we, Ash? Same place we've been the last 10 months. Ash sighed and kissed his forehead. No use in getting annoyed with him again. We dodged the blood pack patrol, but we were ambushed by the sand foxes. Barely got away with clothes on back. As long as I kept what's under 'em, eh? His joke was met with silence, and he heard the rustling as she forced their meagre belongings into the backpack. Ash put an arm under his and helped him to his feet, before she walked him in a shuffle to the mouth of the cave. He suddenly felt the warmth of the morning sun on his face, but realised all he could see was darkness. His hands grasped for Asher in a panic, and he brushed against the bump at her belly. Ash, what? She could barely hide the frustration in her voice. For third time in 24 hours, I'm pregnant, your cybernetic parts are half destroyed, you're blind, your short-term memory isn't backing up because you're so damaged. And
what is going on?
Did we miss a story?
No. And we've been stranded in some godforsaken wasteland for nearly a year now. Oh, and you lost your entire 14 omnibyte drive of pornography because you devoted any leftover space to essential memories. Welcome to the end of the world, my love.
My God.
Jesus.
His mouth dried out, the news almost too much to take. Even the Dixie Buttkiss films from her peak era, where she was performing with P.P. Burns, she clipped him around the head. But found
How could we forget that era?
She clipped him round the head, but found herself laughing. Please tell me that is fake. Yes, fake, love. Her real peak stuff was with Drew P. Schlong. He smirked.
Oh
Smirked. But it was short-lived. How long have I been like shitty Alzheimer's Blade Runner? About 3 months now. He'd missed so much. They were in danger, with no way to escape, and she was doing it all alone. And she was pregnant. She needed him, and the thought of being a burden to her was too much. Hallgrim activated his scanners and turned on the spot. Though he couldn't see, the large deposits of metal from 2 miles away was a stronger pull than the pull in his shorts from a Dixie Buttkiss double feature.
Damn.
We need to get me repaired before I get the 3 of us, I suppose, killed. Or worse, we might all forget about porn. Let's hope this is baby's first memory, Asher sighed. Chunda, 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 the sand foxes chanted as their
the sand foxes!
As their leopard print, leotard-clad bruiser of a leader deadlifted 2 bodies he had turned from living into not so living with his pythons. I mean, he just stuck them in headlocks and just squeezed them until their brains dribbled out of their ears like the last bit of toothpaste in the tube. For any maggers out there, toothpaste is what people use to clean those things in your mouth you open shitty Bud Light bottles with. This podcast is not sponsored by Bud Light, the beer equivalent of the muddy shit-ridden puddle a man dying from thirst wouldn't drink from.
Yo, talk about my chew bones.
Isn't Bud Light too woke for the MAGAs now?
Yeah, Bud Light's too woke. When Bud Light's too woke for you, man, that's rough.
Bud Light lets black people drink it. So
True.
Yeah. How dare they?
Slave beer, the new beer of the maggers.
But they never make it because they're lazy and
That's
they don't
true.
make it. Because they don't have slaves anymore. That's
true. That's true.
That's a good save. Good saving, Rich.
When he put the barbell down from the last set, the crowd around him went crazier than a white girl during pumpkin spice and casual racism season. And
Wait, when's casual racism?
for a white girl, anytime. And a lackey came at him with his clothes and a towel, along with others who were desperate for their leader to show them any sort of attention. Chunda, if you ever need help moving, just shout and I'll come running, one said. Chunda, I'll clean your whole cave, free of charge, said another. Home cave or bottom cave, your choice. Another man came running up to him while Chunda changed and grabbed his manly forearm, his eyes big like saucers. A single tear dropped down his cheek and ran down his smile-channeled face. Please, sir, do me the honour of having relations with my wife, Chunda. She does it wasteland style.
What is that?
Gentlemen, the burly bodybuilder said. I'm flattered at your attention as always, but I've told you don't have to treat me any differently than this sterling chap here. He slapped the back of a small boy and broke 14 ribs in his tiny body.
Oh my God.
As he went off...
I looked up waistline style.
Oh, wasteland, I said, not waistline.
Wasteland.
Okay, well, waistline is the dress thing.
That's hot. This is hot.
Oh, that's much kinkier than what I meant.
Yeah, this is so hot.
As the boy went off to cough himself to death, Chunder walked the crowd of men and women in tattered Edwardian wear in his grey pinstripe waistcoat that barely contained his mammoth pecs. Also, I've told you my name is Lord Charles H. Underwood. I'm the same man I was as when we came here. A little older, a little wiser, but it's still me. I appreciate you standing with me, though the other tribes call me psychotically mad from the heat of the twin suns and possibly my aristocratic inbreeding. But I...
No.
But
that one. That's the one.
But I swear by the imaginary pigeons that are gradually eating my face, I'm as sane as the next blue blood. He wafted his hand in front of his face at nothing. Get away, foul harpies! Ladies, gentlemen, we have to stick together to show strength. It's not the other tribes that mean to kill us, not the Blood Pack, nor the Reap, but our own weaknesses, our own shortcomings. A troop of giant... yeah, he's a bad dude.
Uh-oh.
A troop of giant lizard-riding sand foxes came screeching to a halt by the crowd and dismounted. Their leader, a strong woman in engineer overalls, came running to her leader. Lord Chunder, she said breathlessly. My lord, we found them. The metallic man and the assassin. They are traversing the shift sands. Chunder put down the feathered quill he was using to sign his autographs and looked to the horizon where he knew the shift sands would be. He pulled a pair of spectacles from his front pocket and put them on his nose. Though the glass had been smashed decades ago and they made no difference whatsoever, he swore he could see better.
God.
The vortexes will take care of them, but let's mount up and make sure. Stable boy, my horse, he called.
He's the kid that broke his ribs.
A teenage girl ran to him in tears, holding the reins to his steed. My brother Callum the stable boy is dead, sir. 14 broken ribs punctured his lungs.
Do it. Fucking do it.
Psh, Chunder exhaled. You see? Weakness. We must show our strength, and today we shall. And you, girl, you shall come with me as my new page. What is your name? Shelley, sir, the girl muttered. But sir, I've got tasks to take care of. My brother's funeral, for one. Nonsense! That can wait. The body isn't going to die more, is it? Chunder laughed before taking...
got a point.
He does have a good point.
It's true.
Chunder laughed before taking the reins of his beloved. My beautiful horse, Esmeralda. Named for my mother, Shelley, you see. She is as handsome as she was, as faithful as she was, as strong. He brought a small paper ticket out of his pocket and rubbed it between his fingers. The crowd stared as Chunder burst into sudden tears, burying his head in her neck and stroking what was actually not a horse, but a giant native lizard. It flicked its tongue at the air, and the lizard shared a look with Shelley and mouthed, "Help me." Chunder pulled himself together and brought a carrot from his pocket, putting his palm to the lizard's mouth. The lizard tried to move away, grimacing at the vegetable, but Chunder forced it into its mouth. The lizard stared straight ahead, sick of his shit, bits of carrot in each cheek. Good girl, Chunder said as he patted the lizard's scaly neck. As Chunder mounted him and pulled Shelley up behind him, the lizard spat out the carrot and shook his head. To the shift sands, to hideous revenge, to the inevitable loss of another page. Ho, Esmeralda!
Oh my god.
Chunder announced, riding off as his mounted division followed. What? Shelley said, as her voice was drowned out by the galloping of lizard feet. It was hotter than a camel's dick. And now I mean temperature. But if anyone has a kink for camel dick, then you're welcome, I guess, on the shift sands. And
are they?
I don't know.
Are they welcome?
I don't know. And Asher could feel her strength sapping faster than those 3 debilitating strokes sapped Kevin Sorbo's strength, and his right-wing cunt burger attitude sapped his career prospects. Keep working on that 4th stroke, Jercules, you fucking prick.
Jesus.
Earned.
Are you sure this is way, Hallgrim? I'm not entirely sure you're reliable at the moment, my love. I got this, Ash. Hallgrim could feel the intention slipping and didn't want to admit it. He knew that he was searching for metal, but for what reason he wasn't sure anymore. He had looked back at Ash a few times during their journey and had realised she was pregnant, as if it were the first time again, filled with the same odd mix of fear and joy that all would-be parents feel. We're not far away. A few minutes, maybe? Suddenly his sensors started beeping loudly, and he immediately lost track of his train of thought. Asher came bounding up to him, hugging him tight. You did it! You did it! She was so proud of him, but he just looked at her vaguely, almost afraid to ask what he had done to make her proud. Asher pulled him closer, his grip on her so tight it was as if he was trying to keep the fear all locked up. It's okay, she whispered. We're going to be okay. The ground beneath them suddenly jolted to one side, and the two of them found themselves suddenly sinking into the sand now. You're just terrible burden, you know that? She laughed as she kissed his head, and the two of them sank into the vortex opening below them.
That's marriage for you.
Fucking R.I.P., I guess. Who's next? What's the next story?
I'm next. My story this week.
Asher walked between the rows upon rows of metal garbage, trying to stay on her feet as the subterranean mobile junkyard they found themselves in writhed through the sand. This really is incredible. You are like underground Sanford and Son of shit.
I didn't think I'd hear a Sanford and Son reference.
The small old woman pushed her thick goggles up and looked over her shoulder. I don't get your reference, child. Come over here and look at this. I went a bit Yoda there, I appreciate, and I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. Yeah, you go with it.
That was more yaddle, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Theater is a living art, Rich.
She poked at Hallgrim's body on the table in front of her with a drill, taking off various parts and leaving his mangled, fleshy and metal frame exposed. She reached her hands inside him and rummaged around. What do we have here? Pneumatic penis? Hydraulic joints? Water-cooled internal system? Ooh, 90% of your body's internal organ space is taken up by a drive that has interstellar government-grade antivirus protection. The old crone laughed. You must have had the best kinky shit in there.
This is so weird, Rich. Get the fuck out of my head. This is so weird. Fuck.
Hive mind.
I gotta fucking follow this, and everyone's gonna be like, "You fucking copied off of it."
No. We don't copy. We don't.
Look, maybe if you didn't write your story while Rich was telling his, we wouldn't.
Yeah, if you wrote it down, you little bitch.
What are you saying? I'm not listening. I'm writing.
Hallgrim nodded. Yeah, mate. My family kept LimeWire in business for 200 years. Can you fix him? Asher pleaded, her hands resting on her small bump. I'm afraid it's too late for me to do anything for him, she sighed. Asher's hand went to her mouth. Oh, no. I mean, I have a really early start and I've got to go to bed early, Crone said.
Oh, my God.
But
I knew it.
It's academic because he's no longer with us. What? Asher moved forward and touched Hallgrim.
Oh my God.
Yes, he stopped paying attention to us some time ago.
This is my worst nightmare. This is the worst.
So you can fix me, whatever it is that's wrong with me, I mean, Hallgrim asked. The crone waved her hands in front of her. Oh no, definitely not. No chance in hell. He's beyond saving. Asher and Hallgrim just stared at her. With these items, she shook her head.
Oh my God. It's fucking 1940s Who's on First shit.
But there is a piece of machinery that could help us. An item the Sandfoxes stole from me 3 years ago. Lord Chunder wears the piece around his neck, and he's on his way here to kill you both. If you want my help, you'll kill him first and take it, the crone smiled.
Yes.
I can't just take it from him. I mean, Chunder has dogged us for years. I'd happily kill him for what he's done to us. I'm just trying to be better. Asher looked at the prostrate body of Hallgrim, who stared up at her. Ash, he whispered. Why are we here? Can we go home now?
Oh my God, fix him. He sucks this way.
This is hurting my heart. Don't do this to me.
I hate this. He's fucking annoying.
Wow. All right, well.
The two emotions of put someone with memory loss.
Tattooed on your arms like Memento or something, fucking guy.
Asher smiled and put a hand to his cheek. Sleep. We'll be home soon. She turned to the crone. Forget it, I don't care. I'll kill anyone you want me to. Just help him. Chunder camped on the high ridge over the shift sands and kneeled down next to Shelley, who he had made carry all his belongings in a backpack that was 4 sizes too big for her and outweighed her by 3 to 1.
Damn.
Inside the bag were all his essentials. His rock collection. A dog lead, even though he didn't have a dog. One of those backpacks with a bubble so that you can take your cat outside. A watering can. And his second rock collection.
Damn, this dude loves rocks.
Binoculars, he loudly declared. With a sigh, Shelley reached into the bag, past the skeleton of a small child that sat at the top, and brought out nothing. She then put her hands into 2 circles and put them in front of Lord Chunder's eyes. Zooms, Shelley, he said. She turned her hands and he looked up at her. It doesn't work unless you make the noise.
I knew it!
Zzz, zzz. Shelley made a noise like Ed 209 powering up.
Oh, fuck.
Chunder studied the horizon with a squint and then stood. Too hazy, but thank you, Shelbert, or whatever your name is. Sand foxes! He turned to his group of marauders, all dressed in makeshift hide armour over Edwardian formal wear. We know our enemies lie in wait in the shift sands, our abandoners, our would-be saviours. Now we go into the dreaded wastelands to hunt and kill them. Yeah! Shouted the crowd, full of voice, their fists in the air. Some of our number, nay, most of our number, will not survive the torment of the vortex-ridden lands that lay before us. Yay! They looked at each other, their fists lowering slightly. We will throw body after body against them until our, well, of course yours, not mine, corpses pave a way to our quarry. Death after death we will endure for your lord until our revenge is had, and the glory of the sand foxes is writ long in the sand, in entrails, and maybe the odd kidney for punctuation.
The old Zap Brannigan technique.
Sir, Shelley tugged at his shirt sleeve and Chunder turned around to see a cloud of dust where his backup used to be. Chunder brought the paper ticket out of his waistcoat pocket and rubbed it again between his fingers thoughtfully. No doubt they're all going back to base camp to get reinforcements and more bodies for the glorious cause, eh? What good fellows they are, eh, Shelley? Chunder smirked and Shelley saw a madness in his eyes. Still, we can make a reconnaissance, can't we, my page? No threat of death when you're with me. You'll be perfectly safe, like all my other pages. Shelley stood and took a deep, long breath out in a sigh. I guess, sir. But by the way, do you know you have a full child skeleton in your backpack? Chunder laughed a hearty laugh as they started the descent down the cliff edge. Yes, that's my former page, Timothy. Perfectly safe he is, perfectly safe.
He's not going to get any deader, you know?
He's not going to get any deader. From an outcropping 20 metres away, Asher watched as the two descended the cliff. The hulk of a man looked intimidating, like he could break her in two. She hung from a rock, knife in her teeth. A knife she would plunge into Chunder's space where his heart should be, or die trying. Hallgrim could feel himself slipping. There were names of friends, of loved ones that were on the periphery of his memory like mist. He yearned for that post-nut clarity, so that he could make out the edges.
Is that how it works?
He sat up and realised he didn't recognise his surroundings. It was a junkyard, old lamps, wrought iron, and art sat on racks and racks of old garbage. He moved to the wall where a chunk of riveted iron stood. It was red and soot-stained. My grandmother built this place out of the wreckage, Crone said. She had a shit eye for men, but a good eye for design. Made this sand mole for us to live in, and didn't look back. Hallgrim was startled by the woman. Who are you, love? Please don't tell me I got blind drunk at a dark bar again. Trying to decide whether or not you two deserve killing or saving. Seems like you've been through as much as we have since we parted ways all those years ago. The crone mumbled and brought a small metal plaque down from the low shelf. She gave it to Hallgrim, who turned it over in his hands. It was brass, with the words HMS Titanic embossed over it, with some names.
What?
Hallgrim knew he should recognise it, but he just couldn't remember. I'm sorry, I don't... He panicked, and at the sight of his confused face, the crone put a hand to his cheek. Shh. It's okay, dear. I'll help you. You and your friends left us here on this colony after our ship sank, don't you remember? Centuries passed, and it became apparent humans need creature comforts like food and a natural water supply, and the absence of large arachnids that steal your children and eat them. Crone smiled.
Yeah, that helps. That helps.
Everyone remembers the saviours of the Titanic. We all despise you. We broke into tribes, fought each other to near extinction, and now the two of you are back and we could all have our fun with you. But seeing you like this, it'd be like killing a puppy. Crone went to her toolbox and brought out some tool that Hallgrim didn't recognise. That better not be a sex toy. My pegging days are long over, mate.
Or are they?
I sent the woman out to fight Chunder. She won't stand a chance. I sent her to a death in revenge. Now I think I might have been a bit too hasty. She opened up Hallgrim's panel at the back of his head and hesitated. If I fix this, it will bring you back to your former self, but you'll have a drastically reduced lifespan. The more you fight, the less that will be. You want me to do it? Ash dies, I ain't got much to live for anyway, he whispered. Supercharge me, Grandma. Chunder held Ash's arm up and struck her around the face with the back of his hand. A woman? A mere slip of a woman? Is that what the Abandoners send me to fight? I am a child of Titanic. He pulled the ticket from his pocket and slapped it in her face. My heart will go on, he screamed.
I like how they know that song.
It was playing on the Titanic. Didn't you see the film?
That's what they played when
the ship was sinking.
When the band plays it, yeah, they play that. Yeah.
Asher brought a small dagger from her boot and shoved it into his thigh. With a grunt of fury, he threw it to one side, then flexed his thigh muscles until the blade forced itself back out again.
Jesus.
It seems a little roundabout, but all right.
Fucking strong.
You're hot, but not that shriveled weenie you call a penis, Asher smirked. What's the matter, Chunder? Steroids make your pee-pee soft? Chunder laughed and turned to Shelley. She thinks sex is more important than revenge, Shelley. We were born and raised in this crucible, moulded by its hatred. I would rip off my own penis and use it to choke you with it if it meant you and your friends would die horribly. Wouldn't I, Shelley? I mean, I don't really know you that well, but sure.
Sounds plausible.
Shelley admitted and then stopped when she noticed Ash's bump. Sir, she's with child. Chunder smirked, then rooted inside his bag for a weapon. Unable to part with his two beloved rock collections, he tore the femurs off Timothy's skeleton and snapped them to make two bone daggers, letting the other halves drop to the floor. Good. More of them to kill.
Damn!
Shelley didn't... Timothy Blackcrest?
No. I just like the name Timothy for, like, put upon boy characters.
He does have that dog leash, though.
Mm-hmm.
Pieces are all coming together.
They're all coming together. Shelley didn't really understand what drove her to it. She had heard tales as a young girl of the Abandoners who had ripped them from their world of plenty and deposited them here to this armpit of a world. She had every reason to hate them, but for whatever reason, whether she was tired of hate, or she was feeling the grace of God's light, or that she had seen her brother die by this moron giving him his internal organs a high five this morning, she picked up the halves of the bone shards and ran at him, stabbing him in the back. Et tu, Shelley, Chunder sniffed.
So dramatic.
Genuinely sad. Get her, Esmeralda, he called to his lizard, who just flicked a tongue in the air and shrugged. Look, man, I take a lot of shit from you, but you enslaved a sentient lizard race just to transport your white ass from one patch of desert to the other, man. Have you heard of walking? The lizard said in an exact match of Chris Tucker's voice, which I won't do for obvious reasons, and then took the saddle off and waddled away. You goddamn hot-blooded bitch.
Do you understand the words coming out of my lizard mouth?
Excellent.
I'll do it. I'm not above that.
Asher charged, but Chunder was too fast and too strong. He was the apex of all skills. Like when you're a kid and you design a top trumps or a fact files type thing, and you give your favourite character that you made up all the best stats because you love them so much. Yeah, he was like Duke Robo Karate all over again. Trademark Rich Masters Top Trumps Duke Robo Karate. Do not steal. OGOC reference for Jeff right there.
Fucking R.I.P. OGOC.
It's legally binding. We can't steal it.
Do not steal.
Anyway, Chunder was like that. He had everything but charisma, or Riz, as the brain cell challenged are calling it these days, and dick size turned up to 10. He was fast. He was strong. I'm going to abandon this paragraph because I'm tired of saying how alpha he was. He certainly wouldn't let you copulate with his Christian wife while he watched in a chair, that's for damn sure.
Damn right.
Asher threw small kunai, because apparently she has those too, I've just made up, at him, and he simply tensed his forearm and batted them away. His forearm muscle's just that dense. And those mofos are the toughest to build up, or if you're like me and lazy, that and every other muscle.
It is hard.
It's really difficult. You just got to put so much work in, and I'm not prepared to do that.
It's so much time. It's so much.
So
I got sleeping to do.
Yeah, sleeping and eating and...
There's so much pornography too, right?
Yeah, there's so much. We've got like a fucking Holgram amount of pornography.
Yeah, talk about building up your forearms, though.
I'll get to the other muscles when I've got through all the pornography. So pitiful. At least by killing the child, I'll prevent it from ever knowing what a beta cuck its mother truly was.
Damn.
Chunder lifted the bone shivs and thrust them down towards Asher. A metal arm jutted between them and the bones shattered against it. As Chunder looked up, Hallgrim smirked at the man. How? Chunder said. Plot contrivance, Hallgrim said. Before he turned his cybernetic fingers into long, thin daggers and slashed at Chunder's throat. No! Chunder whispered hoarsely, holding his neck as the blood seeped from the jagged cuts there. He grabbed the ticket that was now covered in blood, and Hallgrim kicked him down the ridge to the shift sands below. Fucking numpty, Hallgrim spat. How? Asher whispered. The crone? Hallgrim nodded. Old Bat tried to set us up, but had a change of heart. I'm back to my old self, just got to take care of myself a bit more, you know. Asher sobbed as she hugged him, and he squeezed her back. Then he realised that a small pair of girl arms had hugged them too, and he turned around and gave her a look. I'm sorry. It just looks so nice, Shelley said. Asher smiled. It's okay. Thank you for your help, Shelley. You saved my life. Shelley's feet kicked at the sand. Oh, shucks. Can you take me with you when you rift away? Before they could answer, purple electricity crackled around them, and a tear in the air next to them opened with a blast of air. Asher grabbed Shelley's hand, seeking to save her from this wasteland world, seeking to somehow mitigate their past mistake. But she needn't have bothered. The portal was incoming, and out stepped a woman with a bare helm, a warhammer, and a long rifle. She looked down at the huddled bodies of Hallgrim, Asher, and a small girl. She dropped the warhammer into the sand and dropped to her knees. Asher wrapped her arms around her sister, who returned her hug fiercely. Kellen, it's so good to see you. Kellen removed her helm and let it fall to the floor. I found you, she whispered. As Hallgrim looked her over, he noticed she wasn't the Kellen they knew, her face freshly cut in a pattern that would form the older Raph's scars. Kells, how long's it been since you've seen us, mate? He asked. 12 years, she cried. To be continued, which is redundant because this is a series.
Yeah, that was great.
That was fucking sick as hell.
My lawyers are on the phone for copyright infringement since we did very similar stories.
Hey! Great
You shouldn't have let Rich go first then.
He wrote it down. I couldn't trick him this time.
Oh,
That was great.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
Oh,
I love that there's like a secret behind the scenes Rich Masters tonic, right? Where he absorbs what he's seen recently. And I think you can tell what he's seen recently.
Well, we all do it. And I always think that it's very obvious what I do.
Whether it's obvious or not isn't the important part. It's whether you make a good story out of it.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
And Rich fucking knocked it out of the park.
Oh, thank you.
We both seen similar things recently.
It was great though, that film. It was so good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
We won't say the name because they're not sponsoring us.
Garfield. Oh no, I said the name.
It was Garfield.
Yeah.
I paid to see Furiosa, but then I was like, wait, fuck it. Garfield. I watched it 3 times in a row.
I want to hear Chris Pratt do his Chris Pratt voice. It is Chris Pratt tone. Again.
Chris Pratt is a voice of something.
Why can't he do a different voice? Like, everyone can do one other voice.
Yeah. Do a Hume voice or something.
I'm so tired of Chris Pratt.
Aren't we all?
He's America's leading man.
Is based on Chris Pratt.
I'm glad you...
Garfield 2. I liked Garfield so much I just wrote a sequel to it.
Wow.
I'm excited for us to get back from these messages that are about to happen so we can listen to Garfield 2.
We'll be right back.
It's Monday.
Welcome to part 2 of Bodybuilders and Junkyards. I hope you liked the first story, mainly because it was mine, and I hope I'm a real validation whore.
I loved it.
We're all validation whores.
Validate me, Daddy.
Yeah, there
Please
you go.
praise me.
I mean, please.
I didn't
praise
have
us.
a dad.
I had a dad, but he was bad at it, so...
Yeah, when I did have one, also that was true. Anyway, let's read our stories and have ourselves a cathartic dad time.
There is a little bit of that in my story, actually.
Yeah, I think that's every story we write, right?
We've spent a lot of time this week talking about dads.
It's almost Father's Day in America, so...
Yeah, 15th of June, right?
I knew that.
I don't fucking know. You think I got a father? I don't know.
I mean, you think you got it rough? I got to buy my own present.
What? Evan doesn't buy you Legos?
Nobody gets you a present on Father's Day?
Oh, that's not true. Rachel does.
I knew it, you
I didn't know
fucking
you guys
liar.
did that.
One of my first Father's Day, I'm going to hijack this conversation. She got me and Evan Player 1 and Player 2 t-shirts when he was
cool.
1. I'm really sad that it doesn't fit him anymore.
You gotta get him a new one for Kids Day.
You get him a giant one, and then he'll grow into it.
That's true. Wrap him in it like a blanket. Anyway.
Get him a giant one and just make that be his room for the next, 5 years.
Yeah, because he's not staying in my house.
What you need to do to be a classical father is get him a giant one that only a bodybuilder would fit in, and then shame him for not fitting into it ever.
It's too big. It's too... What are you, a baby?
Yeah, it's not too big. You're too small.
Baby beta cuck.
Yeah, that's right. It always comes back to this. Anyway.
What's your story called, Josh?
My story this week is called One Witch's Gunk is Another Witch's Honk.
I mean, the titles are quite similar as well.
They are very similar.
This is the worst. I wish I was going last. Well,
man. I'm sure it'd be great.
Yeah. Daranos faded away. As time passed, the forest turned black and ashy, and the rivers, which once ran wetter than yo mama after I mowed her lawn that one time, were now drier than yo mama after I stopped mowing her lawn that one time.
Poetry.
Very specific.
The dirt, which was once rich with nutrients and bugs and whatever else makes dirt good and shit, now is red and cursed.
Poetry again.
Time faded. The suns rose and the moon set over and over. Now what we have here is a failure to communicate, said a rat with an eye patch holding an ancient-looking gun. Sirs, please, don't kill me. I'm so thirsty. I was just looking for a little nip of the old wet your whistle, the old liquid libation, some of that H2 blow, said a dried-out husk of a frog. He had seen better days. His wrinkly-ass skin was gross, like when you get out of the pool after drinking 13 beers and you don't really know how long you were in the pool, but you know it was too long and that everyone knows you pissed in the pool. Silence, damn amphibian, said the lead rat.
Damn amphibian.
His rat buddies laughed in a high-pitched laugh. All was still. A single tumbleweed rolled by, pushed by the wind, which itself was quieter than usual. The leader cocked the hammer back on the ancient gun. The click could be heard for miles. The tumbleweed stopped dead in its tracks and got up on two tumbleweed wooden legs. I ain't seen nothing, fellas. Yoink, said the tumbleweed as he picked up his suitcase and skedaddled out of there faster than after I fertilized your mama's second lawn with my special fertilizer called my jizz.
I know Rich has cornered the market on this, but poetry.
Please, mister, I didn't mean nothing by it. Honest, the frog pleaded for his life. You think the tunnel rats are gonna suffer a water thief like you?
Tunnel rats rule!
Tunnel rats rule. That's us. My ancestors fought you green-skinned, water-breathing slickbacks for generations.
Whoa!
Damn, that is racist. I'll be damned if I'm gonna let you take what's rightfully mine, said the tunnel rat leader. Boys, looks like frog legs back on the menu, he said with a smile, and he aimed right between the frog's froggy eyes. Suddenly, a golden portal zooped open, right where all this nonsense exposition was taking place. The portal sliced the rat leader in half, bisecting him from skull to tail. His two halves slid slowly off each other like a pie off of a clown's face. The other rats ran for their lives as a tall, half-naked, hot-as-fuck, PG-13 as hell, made for the 18 to 40 demographic necro witch stepped out of the portal. In her arms, she carried a dwarf who looked like he had seen better days. Parts were falling off of him, literally. The S&M sexcromancer magic used were desiccating his skin. He was falling apart from the inside out. Oh, thank God you saved me, shouted the frog. How could I ever? But he never finished his thought. Axe Wound's 6-inch heel pierced his skull and impaled him as she hurried along into the desolate wasteland before them. Dagobah system, Ben, murmured Gunk as he passed in and out of consciousness. I knew I should have shown him all those Aussie flicks, Axe Wound said. She was moving as fast as a supermodel in heels and skin-tight leather bikini could move. This was her fault. She couldn't let Gunk die, right? That would be unfavorable, she thought to herself. As the suns drew closer to setting, Axe Wound felt a shiver run up her spine. Where the hell were they? She portaled to the future, but she was in such a rush that she must have gotten the location wrong. She stopped for a second to scan the horizon. Yep, nothing but desolate wasteland, just like Twitter, she laughed to herself. Okay, we'll work on our tight five later. Now we have to get us someplace warm for the night. She felt her mouth turn downward in a frown as she looked down at Gunk's dust-covered, half-dead face. She set him down gently and rubbed her hands together. The night in the desolation was cold and dark. She held out her hands and used a basic fire spell to create a fire rune on the ground. She then used a basic blanket spell to create a blanket and cover both her and Gunk up. Gunk's condition was worsening, and the smell. Axwood couldn't tell if it was just normal dwarf stank or the fact that his body parts were already turning greener than the link during December. Go Birds.
Nice.
She closed her eyes and tried to sleep. The rune would keep them warm and safe for now. Hello there! An annoying voice pierced through the darkness and jolted Axwood awake. She shot up and held out a fireball in one hand and an ice ball in the other. Who the fuck? She stammered as the sleep was fading from her mind. Don't worry, I'm not here to harm you, just passing through, said the man. Name's Feces, the disguise. And I'm a very unique individual, and nobody else is like me. You can tell because I have this second very real mustache over my gray beard.
I'm just imagining him with a really bad, like, waxy handlebar moustache.
Fucking, you buy him with those glasses with the big nose.
Oh, like a Groucho Marx one.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm fully seeing, like, 2 wires attached to it going up and over his ear.
It's just those ones you get at weddings where it's just a stick. It's just that one. Axwound held the fireball out and pointed it aggressively at the stranger. Go away, or I'll cook you where you stand and eat your ass meat while you're still taking in your final gasps of air, she said like a badass. Ho ho! Feces laughed. I'm something of a sexual adventurer myself, until I took an arrow to my peen. And by arrow, I mean chlamydia. Sure feels like arrows when the pee is coming out. And not like iron arrows, like those stony ones you find in parks and stuff with the jagged edges.
Oh.
Axwood enlarged the flame bolt. It seethed in her hands, directly proportional to her anger. Your friend there, Feces pointed at Gunk. He looks like total and complete shit, if you don't mind me saying. Sex magic, huh? How do you... Axwood lowered her arms a bit. I'm something of a sex magician myself, until I took an arrow to the... Shut up! Axwood screamed. She felt her magic bolts... She held her magic bolts high again. I know a place that can help him, Feces said, pulling a stick of beef jerky out of his beard and biting into it.
Oh, man, this is a totally unique individual, and I love him.
I don't know why that's funny to me. Axwood again lowered her arms. Tell me, now, she demanded. She was already standing over Gunk and picking him up. Just follow the tumbleweeds. They'll lead you right to a doctor of sorts. Feces gestured his hands all around. Tumbleweeds were rolling to the west. Axwood was already 20 paces away when Feces said, You're welcome, in a sarcastic tone. By morning, Axwood was trudging along. The weight of Gunk and the lack of sleep, food, and water were now taking its toll. Even her magical abilities needed a rest now and then, though she would never admit it. As the suns peaked up over the western sky, it's backwards here, she squinted. She squinted and instantly felt the heat of the blazing fireballs sting the whites of her eyes. But ahead she saw it. A trash heap. Great, she said to herself. Why did I listen to that obvious disguised sex weirdo who snuck up on us in the middle of the night, in the middle of the desert? She said to Gunk and herself. But she trudged on. As she finally made it to the outer gate of the trash heap, she collapsed to her knees. Hello? She yelled. Hello, is anyone here? The sound of her heavy breathing was the only answer she received until said a 3-foot-tall automabot on a ball wheel. Its blue eyes scanned them both. Let us in, robot, she demanded. The automabot responded as it pulled a giant Frankenstein switch. The gate of the trash heap began to squeal open slower than your mama's trash heap squealed open for me last night. Like, I got work in the morning. Damn, bitch. Don't say that to someone's mom.
Work being this podcast.
Yeah. Get up and read the story that I'm writing right now. Yep. The automabot grabbed Gunk and held him while the three ventured into the obvious junkyard in the middle of nowhere. Axwoon could see parts from all sorts of automabots and bone cars and boner cycles and whatever else. Sex dolls. People gotta throw those out too, you know. Can't just leave them on the curb. The borough won't have that, trust me.
Trust him.
Soon they arrived at a ramshackle cottage in the middle of the trash heap. The bot opened a door and laid Gunk onto a table and let out a series of whistle boops and buzzes. Out of the back room came a haggard-ass road wench who had to be about 230 years past her prime. Axwoon actually scowled at the sight of this ancient swamp hag who had turned in her swamp rags for dusty desert armor and leather. She somehow kept the swamp stench, though. Welcome. I am Mama Meadow, the old crusty bitch said. What do we have here? Mama Meadow.
This narration is being quite mean. This character.
Mama Meadow took out a magnifying glass and examined Gunk's lifeless body. She ran the glass up and down and squinted through it like she was actually doing something. Fix him! Now! Axwoon shouted. Ah! Mama Meadow said as she opened Gunk's eyes with one hand and moved the spyglass back and forth. Fix him, or I'll turn your insides pH level into something slightly more acidic. As your body rejects all your organs, you will beg me for a quick death. Axwoon held up a hand with green powerful magic.
Jesus.
Ah! Mama Meadow said, examining Gunk. You're a magic user. She stopped herself from being too specific. And you're a healer, so heal him, Axwoon said, getting more and more annoyed. I was once a magic user, Mama Meadow said, not paying attention to the growing anger that was Axwoon. I was a witch. You don't say, Axwoon said, eyeing the witch up and down. Fought in the wars, I did, Mama Meadow said. She was now crushing up some herbs in a mortar and pestle. Yup, fought against Magic Hitler in the First Mana Wars. As you know, he was trying to kill all the shrews. Axwood rolled her eyes.
Oh, no.
Yep. But we put a stop to him and sent him back to the past. Some say he now occupies the body of an English fellow who does a relatively okay podcast. Does a hell of an impression of himself, though. Yep. Lots of witches died during that one. Axwood was getting furious. Fix him, or I'll... Yes, the witch cut her off. She then held out her own hand and absorbed the magical energy from Axwood's hand. Her body shuddered as she licked her lips and fingers of the magical power. That's the stuff Mama likes, she said as she rubbed the magic into her gums. Look, here's the thing. I can't fix him, she said bluntly. I will kill you, Axwood began to power up again. But, Mama Meadow cut her off. I am a bodybuilder. Axwood tilted her head and smiled wryly. Really? Because you look like you weigh 89 pounds soaking wet. No. I build bodies. I literally build them.
Genius. So fucking genius.
Like old Diesel here, she said as she clapped the Automabot on the head. Clang, clang! Built him to help me out around here, although he does more looking at circuit schematics than helping out. Diesel replied. So here's what I can do for him, Mama Meadow said, putting on reading glasses. We're gonna give him some new arms, and he's gonna need a new heart. Seems like someone used some kind of sex magic on him and caused his heart to explode with pure jizzed ecstasy. Good thing his second heart is still relatively okay. Do it. Whatever it takes, Axwoon went to turn around. That only leaves payment, the witch said, licking the end of a quill. Axwoon slowly turned around and grinned. I am the apprentice to the only power that exists here. I can offer you anything and everything. I can give you your youth back. I can make you more attractive and powerful than you ever were. Your magic would be feared or beloved. So you will fix him, and then, and only then, will we discuss your pathetic payment. Axwoon's eyes glowed bright green as she turned around and went outside. Mama Meadow simply smiled and began her work. Cue montage music. If you wanna be tough, you gotta eat nails, then shit out the nails, yeah. And eat the shit out of the nails, and fucking on nails, and sucking on nails, and sticking nails in your butt, yeah. Nails in your tits, and nails in your glits, and nails all up in your dick, yeah. Record scratch. Diesel, my sweet, Mama Meadow began. Though I appreciate your musical ability, maybe we shouldn't do a montage right now. I mean, we have to draw this story out. Plus, you're a robot, and we already have a guy who does robots. We just heard a story from him. He's amazing at science fiction, and the guy next is incredible at spooky monster stories. We really need to stick to our wheelhouse, or else we'll probably get fired. Diesel said. Yes, but we don't want to be too good, or else the Patreon money will go up so high, and then we'll definitely be fired. It's a fine line, Mama Meadow said to the audience. I mean, Diesel.
Wink.
She worked into the night. Sparks flew as she ground metal into movable and amazing mechanical joints. She perfectly machined fingers to tolerances only seen on the Cyberbone truck. Her frayed gray hairs fizzled as sparks landed onto her head. She rubbed sweat from her brow and adjusted her goggles. When she was nearly finished, she put a final touch on her masterwork. The initials MM on Gunk's new mechanical left bicep along with a heart. Axwoon sat outside and stared up at the stars. Theranos' 2 moons hung overhead. She could see the stars even through the debris of the half-destroyed moons. She sighed. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw a 4-foot-tall brick shithouse of a jacked-up dwarf robot walk over to her. Robot walk over to her, like he used to. When he got in front of her, he did the moonwalk, which then turned into a backflip. He landed on his stomach and did the worm, and then front flipped back onto his feet and did the ta-da hand thing. Axwoon just shook her head and tried not to smile. Gunk sat next to her without saying a word. She coughed, as if the words were stuck in her throat. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have let you do that ritual. She looked back at the stars, unable to look at Gunk. I wanted to, Gunk said, sounding the same as he always did. Besides, we needed to get out of there. Axwoon kept looking upward. When did you know I wasn't Ruby Rubbleborn? When we were watching Pretty Orc Woman that one time, Gunk said. Axwoon finally turned around at him and looked at him. She tilted her head and squinted. What? She said, almost laughing. I was looking at your boobs not paying attention to the movie, and I saw you change for a second. You thought I didn't notice all those times my girlfriend turned into an almost 7-foot-tall leather mommy dominatrix? That's something you tend to notice, Axe, Gunk said, laughing. Why didn't you say something? And why didn't you... I don't know. She stopped herself. Why did you stay? I mean, I'm evil as fuck. Gunk and Axwoon sat there in silence for what seemed like hours. Finally, Gunk spoke. My best friend died, he simply said. Axwoon returned her gaze to the stars. He died, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm even doing, you know? It's like my body is this weird bone car, and my soul is just hitching a ride in it. I don't think it matters. I don't think much anything matters, if it ever did. Another long moment of silence. I never had a best friend, Axwoon admitted. Gunk reached out with his new, cold, metallic hand and grabbed Axwoon's. You have me? He said, smiling at her. You are so gay, she said. But she didn't move her hand. She would never move her hand again if she could. Slowly, the cold metal in her hand became warm. As if he read her mind, Gunk squeezed slightly more tightly, and her hand got a little warmer. Well, isn't this a heartwarming spectacle? Mama Meadow shouted over an all-speak speaker, or whatever I called a microphone last time. It's hard to keep track. All around her, the blue eyes of automabots shone through the dark. Their lasers darted around, zitting and scanning anything and everything. Atop the largest junk pile, Mama Meadow was decked out in a full metallic armor with an ancient staff. Why buy the tit juice when I can have the whole magical big-titted cow? Mama Meadow shouted. Axwoon and Gunk stood up. Gunk clutched his newly metallic fists. Axwoon's eyes glowed green with power. So I will be taking all of your magical power, little Miss Green Eyes. Mama Meadow laughed maniacally. You dumb bitch, Axewood shouted back. You don't know the ancient magic you are dealing with, girl, Mama Meadow goaded. Axewound smiled a very sleek smile, her teeth bared like fangs through her red lips. You do not know who you are dealing with, she said simply. With that, she let out a screech of wrath. A shockwave toppled junk piles and the cottage. Green magic rippled through the junkyard as Gunk was already on top of a group of automabots. He ripped into them with his bare metal hands, pulling out cooling pipes and cables and pumps of various kinds. His hands were slick with oil and petroleum, and the petroleum smell hit his nostrils, and he liked it. Axewound was dark phoenixing her way up into the sky. The night glowed green like Gravedigger was throwing a rave. She shot bolt after bolt at automabots. They zitted and died in place. Some exploded. She opened her eyes wide, and green beams of magical cyclopean energy shot out at where Mama Meadow was standing. Meadow shielded herself, but the green beam eyes crackled and thundered against the shield. Meadow braced herself and held onto her staff with both hands. Gunk was surrounded by golden bots. He smiled as he unleashed 2 energy swords from his forearms. He spun around and decapitated 2 bots at once. The other bots simply looked at each other and shrugged, but it was too late. Gunk was bisecting them like they were free pieces of cheese from the deli when your mom takes you shopping.
This is the sickest shit I've ever heard of.
Axewound zooped into a portal. Mama Meadow looked around sweating. She was in over her old-ass, raggedy-ass, bird's nest hair-having head, and she knew it. Peekaboo, a voice from behind her said. Mama Meadow turned, but it was too late. Axewound held out a single hand and raised it. Every muscle in Mama Meadow's body seized like they were getting tased for protesting in a public place.
Oh, wow.
Axewound smiled and tightened her grip. No, please no, I didn't mean to. Ah! Meadow shouted as blood began to run from her ears and nose. She was crying blood. Thick coughs of viscous, bloody mucus filled her throat. You didn't mean to? Axewound smiled. You didn't mean to what? You didn't mean to step to the queen? You took your shot and you missed. Now I will take my shot, and I do not miss. Axewound leaned in and whispered into Mama Meadow's ear. Begone, thought, she whispered. As she planted a single long kiss on Mama Meadow's lips. With her power, Axewound turned Mama Meadow around in midair to face Gunk, who was already gearing up for a falcon punch. With one single uppercut, Mama Meadow's head ripped from her neck and flew into the night, her gargled screams growing faint as her decapitated noggin flew out of the atmosphere and into the stars that Axewound had been so admiring. The two stood in a pool of blood and oil, gasping for air, their chests heaving with excitement and adrenaline. Gunk laughed first, then Axewound. Slowly they looked at each other, and in one moment of pure violent ecstasy, they kissed. Axewound ripped off clothing, and Gunk ripped off other clothing, and like the start of all great romances, they boned on top of a trash pile. The end.
That I already said it, but that was the sickest shit I ever heard.
So they were quite close in places, but I would say they independently stand on.
Oh
their own.
yeah, they're
You didn't
very
need
different.
To worry.
Yeah, but I mean, who are they good? I don't think so. I don't know.
They're both good.
As an impartial third observer who would benefit from your stories being worse than his, I will say that they were pretty fucking sick, and I love them both.
There you go.
I had a part where they were gonna have like Diesel was gonna like be like, "Can I come with you?" And then they were gonna kill Diesel because I wanted them to be still kind of bad, but it didn't work. But
Did you always intend Axewound when she came back to start being not? Well, I mean, she's still a dick, but you know,
She's
not
still
so
evil.
much of a dick.
She's evil, but she's in love.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think
Right.
so because I think that's more interesting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's more interesting when you're like, oh, I don't like this person, but then you're like, wait, do I like
this person? Yeah. Yeah.
She's a
bad
three-dimensional
characters have
character.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
can be like cartoonishly evil, but also feels love, and she feels real emotions.
I mean, she did do that Cosby head shake thing, which is probably the most.
I try not to
evil
think
thing
about
she
that.
Yeah, that was pretty evil.
I still
Not-
laugh about that to myself sometimes.
Not as evil as Cosby, though. The head shake was probably the
Yeah.
least evil thing about him.
Yeah.
So. Well.
We've had our prerequisite mention of Cosby and his crimes.
Gotta hit all the boxes. Magic Hitler, rich being Hitler,
Yep.
ACAB, we had some
Cosby.
ACAB.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
Shit.
Yep.
Yep.
Right. Well, that's two parts down. Can we get through the third part without some moral ambiguity and some things we probably shouldn't mention on a podcast? Find out soon.
No. I mean, find out.
So, two stories about wastelands with weird old lady crones.
Witches.
So
I'm
let's
sorry, guys.
see.
I can't keep this up.
Let's see if
Mine was actually a swamp hag thought. Who
Yes,
was
Yeah.
thank
turned
you
into
very
a-
much.
yeah.
A wasteland thought. Get it right.
All right. Okay. So let's see if Jeff's going to continue the trifecta of wasteland
Don't put this on me.
hag thought stories we all obviously agreed on in advance.
True.
And yeah, take it away.
Well, the name of my story is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner But Not Racist? The car ride had gone on so long that TK Kanzaki had started to let her mind wander as they drove past empty land stretching into the distance, only broken by high barriers of densely packed trees every so often.
Boring.
It had been born of a sort of malaise of boredom to begin with. One too many stories about Bigfoot being part of the Illuminati, but only the WCW version, not the WWF one from Dev. One too many interruptions to bring up what life was like as a radical skateboarding 90s ghost trying desperately to escape the endless weight of eternity from Dips. One too many frothy-mouthed, raging speeches about murdering Gestalt with his bare hands and avenging his fallen brother with the spilled blood of the guilty from Jason.
Redheads, am I right?
It all started to wear on her eventually. But eventually, it changed. The change was so gradual she hardly noticed it. The flashing lights passing the car windows as the night wore on into morning gave way to the breaking dawn, which only served to deepen her loss of time, to stretch out the hazy thoughts that slowly drug her closer and closer to sleep. Eventually, the light had become so bright she could still see it through her closed eyes, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary for her in that numb, dull brightness, until she could hear the humming again. She shot forward, trying to grab onto the leather of the seat in front of her, for the comforting knowledge of place, of time, of proximity to Alyssa, but her hands found no purchase in the droning white light. She blinked hard against it, finally straining her eyes enough to see the dark black recesses between long white panels along the wall on each side of her, which seemed to stretch into infinity beyond her vision. No, she whispered to herself. Her voice was being unbearably loud in the hum, like a scream inside her own mind.
I get used to it.
I'm afraid so. A monotone voice broke the reverb of her own speech and caused her to yank away from it with her whole body, spinning fast to face the direction it had come from. In the distance, not very far from her, a familiar body sat slumped over in a wooden chair in the very epicenter of the room, draped in a white lab coat stained with age and wear, a corpse dangling over the side at almost the point of tipping into the floor, desiccated beyond all recognition. She stared for a moment. There was a silence, besides the endless droning hum of the halogen bulbs that hid behind every surface in the room. "Who are you?" she screamed out, terror gripping her voice and straining her throat.
My money's on dips.
"I am Nil," the corpse spoke motionlessly, an emotionless voice emanating from inside of it far behind the empty, toothless, immobile mouth. "I was once Professor Thomas Amran. Now, I am Gestalt." Her body shuddered with waves of fear which paralyzed her, her head swimming and spinning beyond her control. She gritted her teeth to try and steady herself, screaming at the top of her lungs against the humming, barely audible over its endless drone. "What do you want from me?" "Your mind." The voice echoed into forever, becoming louder and louder, merging with the vibrating, drilling hum of the electric lights, driving itself into her head like a lobotomist pike, until... "TK!" Alyssa yelled out, shaking her by her shoulders awake as hard as she could, causing her to bump her head into the back of the seat over and over again. "Stop playing around! You're scaring me! Get up!" "Jesus, I'm awake, TK yelled out, grabbing onto Alyssa's arms and stopping her from giving her shaken lesbian syndrome. And
classic way of death.
And in parentheses, happy Pride, everybody. Donate to the Trevor Project at give.thetrevorproject.org/mclasspodcast.
Hey!
What are you doing? You wouldn't wake up. I've been trying to shake you awake more politely for like 5 straight minutes. What's going on with you? Alyssa asked with genuine concern in her voice. First you go all Super Saiyan. Then you decide we gotta join a Junior Justice League. Then you do a third well-known pop culture reference to be added later. And now you're going into miniature comas in the backseat of my car? You're worrying the hell out of me. I'm fine. I keep having nightmares, I think. TK held her forehead, feeling a pretty heavy pounding headache forming just behind her eyes. She couldn't remember why she had felt so scared a minute ago, but she felt a tremendous sense of relief she'd been awakened when she was anyway. Are we at Dev's? Yeah, they're waiting for us at the door. The garage is locked, so we gotta go in the front way. Alyssa scoffed, helping TK out of the car and shutting the door behind her. Garage? TK questioned warily. Yeah, big-time whiz-kid world-class computer hacker Dev Durwood works in his parents' garage, apparently. Mm-hmm. Alyssa shoved her hands into her leather jacket pockets and shook her head. We've teamed up with a hopefully less problematic Revenge of the Nerds side character and a possibly more problematic De Niro in Taxi. To do what? I don't even fucking know yet, she analogied. Being bound by the laws of never mentioning either Urkel or family matters in universe. A law with a harsher penalty than any Gestalt could begin to imagine.
That Jeff Pennington is a harsh mistress.
You seem on board, at least, TK said with a bit of frustration in her voice. Let's just go. The two had a pretty cold walk up to the others, who stood at the doorway to the Durwood house in Buffalo, New York, finally. Dev reached up and pressed the doorbell and then turned back to the others and smiled reassuringly. The fuck are you doing ringing the doorbell at your own house for? Jason asked fuckerly. My dad doesn't like it when I let myself in. He thinks it makes it seem too much like I live here. He says that's too pathetic even for me to advertise. Wow. Oh, I'm doing the wrong voice. He says it's too pathetic even for me to advertise publicly. Dev nodded sagely, still smiling.
Wow.
Jason upturned his lip in disgust. What the fuck? Your dad said that to you? Most uncouth, my dudes. Dips, the radical skate ghost, interjected. Apparating from seeming nothingness to be standing between the two of them, his ghostly arms draped over their shoulders and his legs bent up to allow him to still float off the ground between them. My daddy-o always said the best father-son moments were the ones that were shared in love and understanding, my guys. Perhaps your father could learn from my dad's wise words before he drank himself to death in Pasadena in '94 during a most radical Nintendo World Championships.
Fucking the wizard over here.
Dips, you gotta be invisible. You can't freak out Dev's parents, TK whisper yelled as she caught up to them outside the door. So go to the void, or hell, or wherever it is you fucking go when you disappear. Pronto! Harsh, bro, but ultimately, both fair and understandable. Peace and chicken grease, my dudes.
Piece of chicken grease.
Dips threw up the double bunga and slowly faded away into invisible nothingness like smoke dissipating in the dark.
The rare double bunga.
I really wanted to hear about that Nintendo World Championships, Dev said flatly. Yeah, Jason returned. Finally, after this improbable amount of time since the doorbell had been rung, it opened, revealing standing behind it a middle-aged woman with a warm, albeit confused smile, wearing a silk blouse and a pair of high-waisted dress pants over black-buckled shoes. Hello? Can I help you all? She shifted her eyes around the group and finally landed on Dev. Oh, welcome home, Dev, honey. Come on in. Bring all your friends with you. Dev and his mother, Casey, had one long, happy hug together, and then she ushered them all into the foyer. Now take your shoes off. I don't allow anyone in this clean house with their shitty sneakers and knockoff Gucci boots.
God.
TK looked down at the Gucci boots she'd saved up for over the course of 8 months and heaved a deep, heavy sigh.
Knock off.
She slipped them off and set them on the shoe rack by the door next to everyone else's as they deposited their footwear. We're just about to sit down to dinner. Why don't you all join us? We're having gumbo tonight. She ushered them further into the house, through the living room and past a set of professional-style swinging doors for the large kitchen and dining room beyond them. As she did, she quietly whispered to herself, "Thank God I made a lot of it."
You don't make a little gumbo.
Oh, Mom, we're not staying long. We're just here to pick up some files from my hard drive, and then we gotta take off,
Dev said in his usual chipper, explanatory manner, smiling up at his mom.
Very important business to take care of.
Somebody dropped their iPod. A gruff, deep voice hit their ears all at once. Sitting at the head of the large rectangular dining room table was Devlin Durwood Jr., Dev's huge, gruff-ass ex-football star father, with his brow lowered and his head bowed like a bull waiting to strike.
Go Bills!
Who the hell are these people?
They're my friends, Dad,
Dev responded as if he didn't notice his dad's jabs at all. Jason curled his lip in disgust, however. Huh, yeah, right. You haven't had a friend since your pen pal Mei Ling got tired of you writing to explain the plot of Supernatural to her. They get that show over there too, dum-dum. She knows the Winchester boys' lore already. Dev's dad laughed to himself, everyone else in the room exchanging uncomfortable glances with one another while he did.
I know that now that Jeff has watched that show.
Yeah.
I haven't.
What?
All right, sit the hell down, he motioned warily for them all to take a seat. Yeah, everybody sit down and I'll dole you out some delicious gumbo. It's an old family recipe. Even keeps fat husbands who've aged out of their glory days happy. Right, Devlin?
Nice.
Wow.
Casey smiled at Dev's dad with a wry side-eye. He grunted.
I'm sure we'd all love to, Mom, but we really must be going,
Devin chirped, uncomfortable speaking to his mom this way, but trying to seem cool in front of his new friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be an ungracious guest, but we're kind of in a hurry, ma'am. Jason backed Dev up, trying to smile as politely and non-psychotically as he could.
Redheads.
Casey stared at them, and then a slight twitch appeared in her right eye.
What the fuck?
Cut to, the entire new spooky squad are seated around the table, bowls of gumbo in front of them. Each one staring down silently as they eat. The only sound in the room, the soft clinking of silverware against porcelain.
Awkward.
This continued for like 10 straight minutes of silence. So, Devin finally broke the silence, looking around the room at the strange ensemble. Who the hell are you people anyway? Devlin, Casey snapped in return to him, but he just shrugged back at her. What? They're a bunch of freak randos and they're in my house. I figure I got it right, Devlin returned grumpily.
Not wrong.
We're friends of your son, just like we already said, Jason responded, side-eyeing the elder Durwood between bites of the delicious gumbo. Horse shit. My son's only friend is his subscription to Brazzers, Devlin said with a shake of his head.
Brazzers.
Dad, I don't even subscribe to that.
Dev hurriedly corrected, his face beet red at the cheeks.
I don't even know what that is.
I do, Alyssa said, taking another bite casually. Devlin, please stop embarrassing Dev in front of his little friends, Casey said with daggers in her eyes at her husband. Don't make me go downstairs and get the DIVORCE papers again.
Wow.
Like, what is... He doesn't know how to spell divorce?
D-Force, Dip said, his head appearing next to TK. That movie with the hamsters? TK jumped, letting out a much louder squeak than she would have liked. Everyone in the room turned their eyes to her. Sorry, TK stammered, looking between Alyssa, Jason, and Dev for any kind of help.
I farted real bad. She's shy about it,
Dev blurted out.
Nice.
Casey upturned her lip in disgust, but went back to eating silently. Devlin didn't even react, still eating his gumbo with a sour expression on his face at the prospect of having to go through the whole will they, won't they of divorce proceedings yet again.
Just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Dev flashed TK a thumbs up and a big smile candidly once his clever ruse seemed to diffuse the situation. Damn it, TK whispered under her breath. Dips popped back out of reality instantly with a small whoopsie. Alyssa placed her hand on TK's reassuringly. I know you didn't fart. Don't worry, she said with a sly, playful grin. How did he know about the hamster movie? Jason whispered, leaning over the table to TK a little, his hand blocking the side of his mouth that Devlin and Casey were on. Didn't it come out in the 2000s sometime? TK shrugged. Alyssa placed her hand on her face and wiped downward in frustration at this entire day so far. All right, I had enough of all this nonsense, Devlin said, sitting back in his chair. Now what the hell is going on here, and what is my blatant failure of a son done to discredit my family name this time?
Jesus.
You know what? Yeah, I've had enough of this shit, actually, Jason said with a raised voice, sitting back in his chair as well. What the hell did you just say to me, boy? Devlin grimaced, growling out. You've been shitting on Dev since we got here, and I'm about fucking tired of it, Jason growled back in return. He then stopped and blinked, a bit wide-eyed, and turned to look at Casey. I'm, sorry for the harsh language, ma'am. No, by all means, she said, fully casually, leaning back in her chair as well and sipping on her coffee with raised eyebrows to see what kind of ugly mess was about to unfold at her dinner table.
Yeah.
You can't come to my house, and Devlin began, but was immediately cut off. Hey, fuck you and your house, buddy, Jason yelled over him, pointing a long finger at him along the way. Dev's a great dude. He saved my damn life. I'm not gonna sit here and let you badmouth him in front of me. Let alone the fact that he's your own goddamn son. What is it with you and fucking fathers, anyway? What did any of us sons ever do to any of you fucking pencil-dicked old fuckers?
Hear, hear.
Ding dong. The front doorbell rang. Everyone at the table sat silently for a moment, the tension in the room still incredibly high, but all of the momentum having bled out of it. I'll get it, Casey said with an awkward, half-hearted smile, standing up and heading to the front door. Fuck you, Devlin growled out under his breath, half-whispered at Jason, leaning towards him and pointing his butter knife at him with a little bit of butter at the end of it.
Sam!
No, fuck you, Jason growled back in the same low cadence. TK tried to reach across the table to motion for Jason to stop, but barely made it halfway because of her short stature and the size of the table.
You don't want that red smoke.
Dev slumped down lower in his chair, trying to hide himself from the entire situation. Well, looks like there's one more for dinner, Casey called out, walking back into the kitchen hurriedly. This fella says he's a friend of yours too, Dev?
Uh-oh.
From behind her, through the professional swinging double doors, stepped a tall man wearing a long, beat-up old black overcoat tied tightly around his waist.
God.
A pair of black pants and black gloves, which he slowly removed from his hands as he stepped into view. Long black wavy hair fell over his ears, and his eyes sharply moved from one person to the next in the room.
Okay.
You! Jason screamed, leaping up from his seat at the table and lunging towards the black enshrouded figure. But Dev and Alyssa had both already circled the table to grab a hold of him, dragging him back away from the figure with all their strength. Casey took a step away from the man, who solemnly bowed his head for a moment before looking back at the crowd. My name is Rio Tachibana, and I am a friend of yours, whether you know it or not, the man softly spoke. Let me go! Let me kill him! Jason screamed out. I hate him! Trying his damnedest to break the grip of both Dev and Alyssa had on him. Kill him, Devlin said gruffly, leaning back in his chair and rubbing the side of his face. This kid's some kind of mental patient, or... Enough! Casey screamed out, causing everyone in the room to freeze and look in her direction. She was seething, her shoulders raising and falling as she stood there silently. A moment passed before she placed her palms out, facing down, and slowly let out a long, deep breath. Okay, this is my house still, and it's dinner time. Now either we all sit down to have dinner together and act like reasonable, civilized people, or else. There was a long moment of silence then, each person exchanging wordless, worried glances with the next. Cut 2! Everyone, including Rio, were now seated around the table with bowls of gumbo in front of them. The only sound in the room, the soft clinking of utensils against porcelain, complete silence between them otherwise. I'm gonna fucking kill you, Jason whispered hoarsely, holding his fork up to his neck and pantomiming, dragging it along from one side to the other at Rio. Rio looked over to his side at TK, who shrugged at him with an extremely awkward smile. What the fuck is even going on in my own goddamn house? Devlin groaned out under his breath, shaking his head as he spooned gumbo into his mouth. Devlin, Casey reprimanded. He growled under his breath again. Actually, I do have something to say, Alyssa interrupted the awkward silence that followed. She turned her chair towards Alyssa and took her by the hands, holding them at the end of her knees. I don't think we should be involved in any of this. This has nothing to do with us, and we shouldn't have gotten involved to begin with. The fuck is this now? Devlin yelled out. Devlin? Casey reprimanded. He growled under his breath once more, going back to eating. What? How do you figure none of this has anything to do with us? You... TK looked around the room and then leaned in closer, whispering a bit. You saw what I'm capable of doing, what I did. They're not going to let me just walk away happily ever after now. They're going to alien autopsy me, and Jonathan Frakes won't even be hosting this one. So we go on the lam. I've been on the run before, you know that. The gang didn't allow anyone to leave, Alyssa consoled her, holding her hands tighter. You and me, we can disappear, together. TK began, taken aback at the sudden renewed feelings between them, but she snapped back to reality quickly soon enough. I can't just leave Jason and Dev to this. They need our help. We have to do something about these people, their experiments. You didn't see what they did to that man back in Kirby. So we team up with the Straight Boy Revenge Squad and drive off to our deaths in the mountains somewhere? What's that going to accomplish, TK? We're the new hit conspiracy on r/bullshit, but I believe it? Alyssa returned. Her voice raised with frustration and emotion now. I'm gay, Jason interrupted nonchalantly, spooning the last few bites of gumbo into his mouth. Devlin and Casey turned to look at Dev pretty instantly. I'm straight. Don't get your panties in a bunch about it, Dev said, waving his hand in the air in the universal sign for whoop-de-doo.
He's got Brazzers subscription.
It's cool you're comfortable enough with yourself to tell strangers like that, Rio said with a smile and a nod to Jason. I'm gonna kill you, Jason returned. Yeah, my bad for thinking you'd be up for a little human connection, Rio said flatly. Hey, Jason said abruptly, I'm gonna kill you.
Redheads.
TK ignored everything I've written for the last half a page. Alyssa, I'm not sure this is the right place to be talking about this. She stood up from the table and pushed her chair in. Will you please excuse us? We're going to step outside and talk. I'm sorry about this dinner, Mrs. Durwood. Probably not going to be Mrs. Durwood for much longer, Casey said flatly, waving at them to go on ahead. Devlin growled under his breath. Alyssa stood up as well and nodded at Casey, and then she and TK walked back towards the back door at the end of the kitchen in the next room, stepping outside, allowing the door to softly click shut behind them.
No slamming the door!
Jason stood up and slid his chair in hard and fast, walking around the table and grasping tightly onto the collar of Rio's overcoat. Yeah, we need to be excused as well. Sorry for leaving so soon, right, buddy? I fucking guess, Rio said with a shrug, shoveling a couple more quick bites of gumbo into his mouth before laying his spoon down and standing up. Great dinner, brother, he mumbled out around his mouth full of food. Jason yanked Rio through the double doors, through the living room, and across the foyer to release his jacket with a shove near the front doors. Put your fucking shoes on and let's go, Jason said coldly. Go where? I just got here. I didn't even finish dinner, Rio said with disappointment in his voice. How the fuck did you even trail us? You didn't even know where we were going, Jason hissed out between his teeth. I took a bus, Rio said plainly. You followed, like, the exact Greyhound bus route. I just got off when you turned off the highway and walked. I saw your car from the overpass. Fucking for real? Jason groaned out. He shook his head as they both finished putting the boots back on, and he harshly shoved Rio's shoulder towards the front door. Just fucking go, goddammit! Once they were outside, Jason pointed down the street past where they'd parked their car. Just down there, and down the next street is a junkyard. No one will bother us there. The two began to walk in silence towards the car where the car was parked. Rio shoved his hands into his overcoat as he went. What exactly are you figuring on doing, anyway? I'm not sure if you remember this, but I turn into an indestructible Beetleborg kind of monster with swords on my arms, and you're like, a guy? Oh, fuck you, dude, Jason yelled back at him, now jogging across the street to the car. He opened the back door and reached in under the back seat, returning with his prized silver-tipped axe and hefting it into both of his hands. He then held it up in the air to show Rio, who was taking his sweet-ass time catching up. I'm gonna lob your fucking head off with this shit, you bug-ass bitch. Alright, was all Rio said in return, which only further fueled the burning rage in Jason's gut as they walked the last street down to the gigantic arched opening gate to the 88th Street Pump and Dump. Damn. I probably already did that naming joke before, but fuck it, who listens to this shit anyway?
That's patreon.com/storylords.
The two walked inside and headed down a long corridor of high junk piles made by various metal pieces, car hubcaps, and stacked tires. After only a short trip, Jason turned around and faced Rio, hunkering down and brandishing his axe in front of him with a hatred writ across every feature of his face. I'm gonna relish chopping you into itty-bitty pieces, and then chopping those pieces down even further, you fucking freak of nature. Jason spoke through gritted teeth, slowly starting to walk towards his prey. Rio stood static, hands in his pockets, sizing the other man up and down. Why are you so mad, anyway? I saved you from Snake, saved your friends from the last 3 chrysalids, gave you time to escape. I've been a real guardian angel to your whole crew. You just some kind of, like, ginger psychopath or what?
Redundant.
Yeah, oxymoron.
You fucking killed my brother Archie! Jason screamed out with every raging fiber of his being, lunging towards Rio with his axe held high. Thud! The axe held fast, its metal blade draped harmlessly over the top of Rio's raised arm, the wooden half pressed against his forearm. No? Rio finally responded. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Devlin looked over at Dev, who was still slumped down in his chair, pretending he was anywhere but this awkward-ass dinner all his friends had already bailed on. So you're just gonna let your redhead roid rage friend talk to me like that? Devlin leaned over closer as he spoke. He then leaned back in his seat. Figures, he sighed heavily.
I can't control what they do or say, Dad. They're all their own people. Plus, they're all way bigger and tougher than me. I'm not trying to get shoved into a locker at 24. I can't imagine that would look good on a PhD application. Dev set back to his normal height.
Goes on your resume.
Stronger? You gotta be kidding me. You're a Durwood. If you just do some lifting and stop cyber-sexing Nigerian princes on AOL, then you'd be able to hand an ass whooping to anybody on your worst day. Devlin cried out, genuine shock on his face. We're going to the basement gym right fucking pronto. I gotta work off some of my boiling murderous rage for being spoken to with what I label as unearned disrespect from someone younger than me. I am a boomer after all.
Self-aware. One thing boomers aren't.
Of course. Devlin stood and basically lifted Dev up like a suitcase and tucked him under his arm, stomping off down the hallway to one end of the kitchen to the basement stairs and down below. Devlin Durwood Jr. was a retired football player after all, so this house had all the luxuries and amenities his CTE lawsuit settlements could afford. Shame about the intense mood swings and inability to do basic math, though.
Go Bills!
The basement was outfitted with tons of lifting equipment. Barbells, dumbbells, Bowflexes, lifting machines for arms, legs, chest, you name it. But Devlin walked directly over to the bench press and dropped Dev onto the floor like a sack of old clothes. Here we go, he gruffly stated. He then looked down at Dev, who had landed on the floor in that exact beat-up-ass Yamcha pose. You know the one. And yanked him back to his feet. Bring it up, kid. You're embarrassing me and no one's here.
Dad, I'm not a strong guy. That isn't my thing.
Dev finally protested, rubbing his head as he stood.
I'm more of a lover, not a fighter. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I'm more of a third thing. An unknown third thing. That's also good. I imagine.
Dev. Look, son. Devlin placed his hand on Dev's shoulder tenderly. Shut the hell up. Lift this heavy thing. The elder Durwood shoved the younger down onto the bench press and set some weights onto the bar before sliding it into the slats above Dev and motioning for him to lift it. I started out with this little baby weight when I was like 12, so I'm sure you can handle it since you're post-pubescent and all. Devlin chuckled, then paused, then narrowed his eyes looking at Dev up and down. I am, Dev cried out, breaking the silence. I know, Devlin yelled in return, but narrowed his eyes at his son once more, tilting his head.
There's no way I can lift this.
Dev swallowed hard, staring at the weight above him. He figured through the power of his overdeveloped nerd-ass Dweebington brain's mathematical abilities that the weight on the bar was almost 200 pounds. That was almost 180 pounds more than he could lift. Psst, yo, little nerd dude. A familiar haunting voice hit Dev's ear, causing him to jump slightly. But thankfully, Devlin was flexing what was left of his football man muscles in the mirror at himself and didn't notice. Dips apparated out of the floor next to Dev, smiling a wide, ghostly smile at him.
Dips, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be keeping out of sight.
Dev whispered as quietly as he could at the spirit next to him. Whoa, little dweebus. Only you can see me right now, so don't have a conniption, dude. I'm totally gonna help you put one over on your pops, though, bro. Dev grinned a devious grin. Just go lift that bad boy and leave it all to me, dude. Dev smiled awkwardly, not quite trusting this dead child he met yesterday as much as the ghost fancied him to, but also not wanting to burn any bridges or hurt any feelings. Okay. Hurry the hell up, I'm missing Maud, Devlin yelled out.
Maud!
Grasping onto the bar to spot Dev and egg him on.
Well, here goes nothing.
Dev placed his hands on the bar above him, closed his eyes, and pushed. Jason had been swinging his axe fruitlessly at Rio for a few minutes now, huffing and puffing as he screamed bloody murder with each swing. Rio dodged as fast as he could, barely missing a painful slash every time, and starting to lose his patience. He was beginning to feel a familiar bestial feeling raise up in his gut, and he was trying as hard as he could to repress it. A set of ever-vigilant, slitted eyes watched in the darkest shadows of the junkyard as the fight unfolded before them. The blood behind them boiled with a thirst for revenge that threatened to take away all other thought. And the rain slowly began to fall. To be continued.
Oh my god! That was amazing!
Dun dun dun.
I love the part with the Gestalt guy. It was so man, that was so fucked up Matrix ghost. I was there, man.
Fuck, hell yeah. I'm glad I did some good writing this time.
You always do.
I was expecting someone to be watching them in the junkyard for a second, and I was like, oh god, please don't do this. Please let them sort it out naturally. Don't.
And then I did do that.
Yeah, and then you did.
It's probably a witch, going by the previous two stories.
Yeah, it was a swamp hag.
Yeah.
So
Swamp Thought.
Wow.
That was great.
That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you. The power of a mom can get anyone to set aside their differences for dinner.
Scariest part, the mom.
Yeah.
This episode had a different type of horror in it. A much more real horror.
Yeah.
The
Family
horror
dinner.
of family dinner.
Yep. But Devlin kind of likes his son in a weird, fucked up way.
He loves his son in the way that all angry, repressed, loser men love their son, right? In that he has no way of showing it, and he can't find a common ground, so he wants him to be more like him.
Yep, you come toward my end.
Yeah.
And
No.
what? He said no?
He mostly just thinks of his son as a giant failure.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, the only... I don't think... I've introduced two fathers this season, and between the two of them, Jason's father actually loves him underneath it all. I'm not sure if Dev's dad does or not. We'll have to see. We'll see where it goes.
They're very similar, though. I thought they were similar.
There's a little similarity there. I feel like it's much more fun writing Jason's dad because he's like a fucking crazy man.
Yeah.
He just says whatever.
Yeah, and he's much more loser adjacent than
Yes.
Devlin Jr.
A-dab. All dads are bastards.
Yeah. Except me.
Oh, Rich is a dad? Yeah. Also, you're my new dad, right?
A-dab.
True.
The adoption papers are, I sent them to you.
I've signed them. It'll be very clean because both of you have the same birthday, so be very nice and neat. That's a reason to adopt you. It's just neat.
Like a Gattaca
That's
situation.
a reason to adopt a man who's a few months older than you, sure.
Yeah. Look, I'm happy to provide sagely dad advice to anyone who needs it.
We're gonna build Legos. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh man, that's going to be so cool. The three of us building Legos together.
Oh my god, we're gonna be so broke.
Although,
Right, well, I
two
mean, don't adopt
incomes.
me or anything. I don't think any of this sounds
Man,
great or
you
anything.
can come over anytime you want.
Is your
You can be
birthday on
adopted
April
too.
4th, Jeff?
No.
Great. Now we gotta fill out another paper.
Damn.
I'm already like Big Brother in your ass.
Luckily, I'm good
You're
at.
not getting adopted.
I'm very well practiced at filling out adoption paperwork. So,
That's true.
do you know it took 10 months of that process? It took longer than a pregnancy.
That's actually less time than I thought I would think it would take.
Yeah.
I think here it's like crazy. Like it could be years here.
It costs like an immense amount of money to adopt someone here.
Yeah,
as well.
that I never understand because, like, you know, the whole.
Well, they don't actually want you to like do good things.
Yeah,
here. They
it's
don't,
just a
you know.
business.
Yeah, they just want like they gotta make
They
sure.
sell you a child,
Yeah,
which is
Yeah.
totally okay if it's in the system doing this.
Right.
yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I was adopted
Yeah, you've been adopted now by me.
Rich.
by Rich.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember what I was saying.
So, with that, we're going to close the cover on this week's episode. Let's.
It wasn't done yet.
Sorry, yeah, it's a
big-
really heavy
big
book.
Yeah.
Let's bring out the All-C prompt ball. And
Still closing.
Oh God.
all right, so thanks to Malonite and his list, I'm gonna generate this tournaments by Jesus Christ. Has been suggested by 3 separate people.
Jesus
Alex,
Christ did this one?
Alex,
Thanks, Jesus. Mwah.
Travis Morphy, Dog Lips Kajoyan, and Jesus Christ. And then the second prompt is for God's sake, Cheese by Permaflame.
Jeez. That's a good one.
Tournaments and cheese.
That's not a bad one.
I wish that Flinch was appearing in the next one. That would take care of one perfectly for me.
You got any cheese in your prompts?
Now, if you had a similar reaction to me to cheese, thank you, Permaflame, and thought, God, that just really isn't going to lend itself to a good story. Maybe I should suggest a new one. Then you can head over to patreon.com/storylords, and for as little as $5 dollary dues a month,
Quat lose.
you can suggest prompts, join the Discord, get access to the stories online, share your deep inner thoughts with us. For as little as $10, you get access to the sub-podcasts we do, like Redesigned by Committee and Afterlords. We may record one tonight, we may not. And then for $25, you get all that. You get your name mentioned in the book that's going to come out, and, yeah. If you want to find out all that, and the rest of the other stuff I mentioned too. So if you want any more information about the podcast, you can head over to storylords.card.co or storylords.page. Have we got any new reviews this week?
Nah.
Okay.
Boo!
So that's a good time to say, leave us a review at wherever you listen to your podcast, because it really helps us out, gets us new fans. The last set of reviews actually resulted in quite a substantial lift in patrons, so it'd be nice for you to do your lordly duty, squirely duty, and head over and leave us a review. Let's read the patrons list, because those are the people who keep us alive. So we've got King of Patrons, Henry Roselar, who is the top tier patron. Anthony Stoker, Federico Rodriguez, Heath Robinson, Jonathan Anderson, Pez King, Sarah Kemp, Sean Tabor, Squid Ludwig, Stephen, and Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. Now, next week, what I'm going to do is, ahead of time, I'm going to also read some people who have been patrons since the beginning, because I feel like there's some Hender Saints and some
Pen
Pals.
Pen Pals, that's it. Who have been supporting us for a really long time. Like, there's people like Ace Wizard, who I'm just going to pick person at random. Ace Wizard's been supporting us absolutely since the beginning, and is almost like a masterpieces tier by default because of the amount of money that they have been
Thanks,
giving.
Ace Wizard.
Right?
Thanks, Ace Wizard. You're buying us Legos.
Yeah, indeed. Now, the only other thing I've got to say is, if you like the music in this episode, like all episodes, then you need to head over to vidazen.card.co. That's VIDAZEN, or Z if you're American.
Don't bring up Lord Zed into this. He doesn't.
He is Lord Zed, Vidazen. Card with 2 R's.co, and you can find out information about where his music is, all links to his stuff, tour dates for Santosha and stuff like that. And yeah, there we go. That's everything.
I'm trying so desperately to get to the reviews on. I guess you can only leave star reviews on Spotify. We do have a 4.9 and 89 reviews. So
Oh, wow.
pretty
They
fucking
don't have
sick.
words? They don't have words?
I can't get to them. I've tried.
Yeah, I never could either.
I've tried in 3 different manners to get to it, like mobile, like the app and online, and I can't fucking get to it. There doesn't seem to be a way to leave a verbal review.
Okay.
Well, I don't like that.
Let me see if it's
Pretty
any different.
fucking stupid.
We do things a little stupider around here.
Story Lords.
He's writing
no.
it. He's typing.
Do we have anything to talk about like to pimp at the end of this personal stuff?
You could do Trevor Project.
Oh yeah, during the month of June, M-Class Podcast does a special fundraiser for the Trevor Project, which is a suicide prevention hotline and resource center for LGBTQ plus teens. For, I don't know, 3-4 years now, we've raised money every June at patreon.com/mclasspodcast. Every bit of money that we make over the total we already had at the beginning of the month gets donated as a huge lump sum at the end of the month to the Trevor Project. We did $1,243 last year. We're trying to bust that total this year. Or if you want to bypass us entirely but still get included in the total of everything that M-Class has ever given, you can go to give.thetrevorproject.org/mclasspodcast and donate directly to the Trevor Project through it.
Can I?
Yeah, that way we won't steal your money, which we've never done, but I can understand if you thought maybe that would happen.
I can understand why you would be a little wary of two straight white guys raising money for a gay charity.
However,
so you could just go completely around us at give.thetrevorproject.org/mclasspodcast.
It's also worth saying that you guys donate to the Trevor Project as well as part of that month, right?
We did 150 the first couple years, and we've done 200 plus each year since.
Yeah.
I did like 205 to beat Jeff.
I was going to say, didn't you do $201?
Yeah, Josh has consistently donated $1 or more than me every time. So if you want to know who the real ally is.
Yeah. Who cares more?
Yeah, who cares more?
$1 more.
The guy who does all of the work setting up the thing every year, or the guy who donates $5 more?
I don't know. You decide.
I don't know. I can see the number. I can't see any numbers.
The number is really what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But we're trying to beat our total last year if we can, and we're off to a pretty good start. We're already a few $100, and it's only into it, and it's only the 4th. So we're pretty fucking excited about this one.
Last year we were nervous, but this year let's smash this thing, man. Let's crush it.
Let's ass blast it.
Let's ask what? All right, let's
do it. Is that offensive?
It.
I don't know, but yeah, we want to raise more money for the Trevor Project because Star Trek is all about a utopian future for humanity, and we at M-Class Podcast and whatever the fuck this show is believe that there is going to be no future for humanity if we don't have our LGBTQ plus teens growing up into adults to help us change the world.
So, Bros Before Bros, I believe, is the name of this show.
So again, give.thetrevorproject.org/mclasspodcast and patreon.com/mclasspodcast.
You could also head over to jeffpennington.art and commission my friend Jeff to do some art for you.
Who in the fuck are you talking about?
Do it. Commission his ass into the ground.
Yeah,
Make him so busy he can't even work on this show.
I'm at a bit of a crossroads career-wise. Yeah, Bone Thugs and Harmony style. I am at a bit of a crossroads with my career, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do commissions. So if you've ever wanted art from me, then you can find a link to email me on several pages at jeffpennington.art, and you can contact me via social media at _Jeff Pennington on both Twitter and Instagram for however the fuck longer I'm on there. Email me contact at jeffpennington.art, and we can talk about me doing art for you.
You can also email me at joshhenderson.feet, and we'll discuss
Josh,
payment.
What's your Instagram with your toy stuff on it?
Field 1983. I'm also on that Kara thing, and so is Jeff.
Yeah, I'm on Kara at Jeff.
Yeah, that's
the sickest name I've ever gotten.
That's amazing.
I would rather you follow me on Kara at this point than Instagram. So if you have a Kara account, Kara, I'll chill for Kara. It is an anti-AI site for artists and art lovers to join and find all human-made art. There is no AI and nothing even... You can't use AI and then make anything out of it on that site. They will shut your ass down. It is the perfect place for artists and creatives right now.
That is good. Fuck you, Data.
Fucking fuck you, Data.
Damn.
I don't have anything personal to shill. I might be doing something for my charity soon, but I feel like that would be a massive conflict of interest to fundraise a charity that I am effectively running at the moment. So I'm not going to do that.
Why would that be a conflict of interest? Isn't it your job to fundraise for the thing?
But it's where I work, so I'm feathering my own nest. I don't really feel comfortable doing that. I might put something on Twitter or something.
We work on M class.
Yeah, right. Maybe I might get people to sponsor other people doing the sponsorship event, not personally me or the charity itself. Right?
Yeah, I can shill for your charity for you.
All right. We'll do it. We'll do it at a different. We'll do it at a different stage. But
don't do it in June, fucker.
No, not this month.
We're working this side of the street.
Yeah, this is our month, bitch.
If I don't want to be pimp handed to death.
I'm gonna pistol whip your ass.
If you want to listen to another podcast that I'm on, you can head over to Toonhound. You can listen to Toonhounds on Spotify. Send us an email at toonhounds@gmail.com. Whatever, Toonhounds. Patreon.com/Toonhounds as well. We talk about cartoons a lot.
It's a great podcast. It's rich and a rich who has half the energy. It's a really good podcast.
They are going to be stoked at that description.
I'm sorry, Spivsy.
Spivsy
is a great host. I love their commentary on stuff.
Spivsy's very knowledgeable. We did an episode on X-Men 97 recently. We did the first 5 episodes. And we spent 40 minutes discussing episode 1. So we had to split the season in 2. So, the second part of that is going to be recorded next week. So if you want to listen ahead of time, you can. Right, okay. That'll be it for this week. We had a blast recording this, and we hope you had a blast listening to it. We will see you in 2 weeks for Tournaments and Cheese.
We love you.
Bye.
We love you.